All right, let's see if this works. This is What's Up Dave recording for Monday, May 1st. It's 10:14 a.m. Waiting to confirm that we have audio coming out. I do not yet hear anything. But today we're going to go over... Okay, I do hear stuff good. So, anyway, I started writing the notes for myself in the chat window so I can see what I'm doing. Unfortunately, I'm wearing the wrong glasses, so I can't actually read with these. So let me change them if I can find my glasses. Oh, here we go. These are my progressives. So basically they're bifocals, but they're bifocaling not very well. So these glasses are fixed focused and they only work at they're optimized for a distance of about 2 feet from my face, which is the computer for anything else, especially driving. But yeah, now I can actually read, so that's good. So let's see, what are we doing today? So it's a Monday. That means there's a lot of a day of review largely, but there's some to get the fun stuff out of the way. Let's talk about some of the stuff that I've been doing. This weekend, what I did was as you may recall if you've watched past ones, I got this smoker. Oops, which is not, why is it smoking? So let me rotate that. So I got this electric smoker because I'm not allowed to have, those are just sandwiches, not allowed to have a gas grill on my deck anymore. And so it's from a company called Smokin' It, which makes a kind of expensive, but not as expensive, but the least expensive of all the types of this type of smoker I've seen. It's basically a small cube that weighs about 50 pounds. It's electric. So I tried making a dry rub, which is what this was, using Alton Brown's 8:3:1:1 ratio rule as a starting point. So that's 8 parts of salt, 8 parts sugar, 3 parts salt, 1 part something red, in this case I use paprika, and then 1 more part of a mixture of stuff that adds up to another part. So I just threw a bunch of stuff in, like garlic and onion, and that might be curry, and some Old Bay seasoning, so just to see what would happen. And I shook up a big jar of it. End up like this. I coated some country style ribs, which are not ribs, but I guess some slice from near the rear of the animal. Put a temperature probe in it and let this thing run for 4 hours until it hit 160 degrees. I let it hit 163. 165 is supposed to be the safe cooking point for pork, although they've lowered that recently, so it's now 155, I think. And it turns out that 165 is the temperature at which bacteria is instantly killed. But you can actually also kill it to that level if you let it sit for that temperature for a longer period of time. It started raining, so I brought in the smoker into the house. At this point, the smoke was already gone, and so I just put it near my patio door. It was fine; it just made the house smell good. And so this is what it would look like when it came out, when it was done. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good. A successful smoke, I would say. The rub I thought was a little too salty. I would probably make it 2 parts salt, and the blend of flavorings I chose I don't think was particularly good. So I would have to change that, I think, at some point. But I have a baseline, a place to start with. So that was the big weekend project. What else did I say I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, I need to try out this pen I got. What did I do with it? So I'm putting it into I have this pen case. Let me go to webcam, which has been dented, but Jet Pens, where I got this from, is sending me a new one. So that'll be good. So this is the Pilot Metropolitan that someone was telling me about this in the chat room, the co-working chat room. And I actually haven't tried it yet. And so let's see what that looks like. But before I do that, I might as well print out my emergent task planner sheet for the day. I've been revising the design of the sheet, so I've just been printing them out lately instead of, where do I keep these things? Oh, products. So I've been printing them out instead of, where did I put the new one? I keep losing it. It's not variants, is it? Oh, this should not be here, I think. I think this should be up a level. ETP variants. Let's put it over here. Let's give it a squiggly name. So I'm not going to modify this today, I'm just going to print it out. I still need to just redesign this section here, because I think it's a little bit, the day grid bar isn't doing it for me. There's something that needs to happen to that to make it more attractive. But I think the proportions of this form are pretty much what I want. And so this may be the new design that goes out, that I start using. Let's print this out. So, while that's printing, we can look at maybe some of the, let's look at this. As I've been cleaning my basement as one of my object and key result tasks, the objective itself is to have a less frustrating time of things, and part of the frustration right now is just how messy my house is. It's actually not too bad right now. I've started doing a morning sweeping ritual, so the floor is swept of cat litter, and I've also started to I forgot, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, so cleaning the basement, there's all this stuff in the basement, and I was just looking at some of the stuff that I had there. And one of the things I was reminded of was I like to collect card-based media, let's call it. This is maybe the one I was thinking about, the Oblique Strategies deck. This is, you can Google this, but this is something that was invented by, and maybe not invented by, but Brian Eno and one of his collaborators. And the idea of the Oblique Strategies deck is you draw one of these cards when you're stuck. The first card is instructions, or I guess it got shuffled into here. So let's say you're stuck on something. An oblique strategy is like a kind of an indirect way of approaching a problem that you're stuck on. So, all right, I don't know how to clean my basement, so I pull a card out, and it says, listen to the quiet voice. What does the quiet voice say? The quiet voice says, I don't know how to make this go away quickly, so now I reflect upon maybe something else. So it's a thinking prompt. So this one, don't be frightened to display your talents. That doesn't really apply to the basement, but it's something good to remember. Let's think of something else that's a question, like, and I think it has to be a question about that's something that you want to do. I think something that you're trying to act on, because otherwise, these are just like these aren't like fortune cookie type things. So what's one? So I want to develop my WordPress site, and I'm stuck on it. I mean, like, what's one way you can get unstuck? I'm not sure that's a great question. And it says, think inside the work, outside the work. So what's inside the work of making my WordPress site? And what's outside the work? Actually, I really don't know what that means. Maybe inside the work is the technical aspect. What do I need to happen? Outside the work is the reason why I'm doing it, perhaps, which is to be more useful to a general audience. And then if that one doesn't work, might as well draw another one. Use filters. Well, okay. The first thing I thought of was Photoshop filters. But filters is a good way of saying, like, reduce the scope or look at it under a very specific lens. making the website, instead of thinking about it as being this end-all, be-all epic thing, maybe it's just a matter of making it look different. And maybe making it look different with less content is just the way to go with it. So that's an interesting thing. Some of the other stuff that's in here is like the Tell Me Tarot, which is I like tarot cards because like it's not so much that I believe they're mystical or have powers, but these are representations of that have been honed over time regarding what is important to people. So these, like any kind of fortune-telling system is like that. And the Rider-Waite deck is particularly popular because it comes with these illustrations in it. For example, do I have a standard Rider? Here's a standard Rider-Waite. Oh, but I have a boxed one here. So like this one, move some stuff over here. So this one is also like little boxes, so tarot decks afford me an opportunity to acquire boxes. So this, if everyone's seen these in movies probably, but the illustration, the paintings here, they're all stuffed with symbolism, symbolism that was defined by, I guess, what's his name? Rider-Waite stands for something. I forget which one is. One of them might be the painter, one of them might be the author. I don't remember which one is which. But he had a system of symbology. And over the years, I think this was published, the original book was published in the 1900s. Over the years, quite an extensive body of interpretation has arisen from this. All of it about, telling something about the human condition and how to interpret it, and in some sense how to act on it. And that's a body of knowledge that is very interesting to me. But because I don't know what all that symbology is, there's actually a version of the deck that actually reinterpreted them. This is called the Tell Me Tarot. It's based on Rider-Waite in terms of the symbology that's on each of the cards, but it's been redrawn as illustrations. But at the bottom of it, it tells you what the card generally means. Like then an 8 of Pentacles equals hard work. And so I thought this would be a good cheat sheet. The 10 of Cups equals happiness. And it'd be interesting to compare the 10 of Cups illustrations to these. I'm sure this has all the elements that are on the original Rider-Waite deck. So one thing that you can do, some readers, they'll look at the imagery and measure the response of things, of people to them. Or use it to inform their own, interpretation. It's kind of like me, it's kind of being like a designer in that you're looking at the emotional response relative to the message, relative to the desire, relative to who is trying to say what to whom. That's one way of looking at the communication challenge. And just for fun, sometimes I pick up decks that I think are just interesting. Like this is the Steampunk Tarot. So different illustrations, different paintings, a lot of the same symbology. It might be a little bit different. I haven't done a card-by-card comparison of this. And there are, of course, steampunk elements on it. But each of these tells a kind of story that could be useful for performing a reaction. So cards are great for reactions to things. So if you ask, for example, like, I'm feeling, so let's ask something silly, like, I feel like, what do I want to have for lunch? And I just pulled this card by random. It says the sun, there's a bunch of sunflowers on it. There's a little dog looking at two people dancing, and there seems to be like a bunch of industrial stuff in the background, but it's a nice day. This makes me think picnic, and this makes me think picnic food. And so that's, it's an interesting starting point for a prompt. Let's ask the oblique strategies and say what's for lunch. What should I have for lunch, oblique strategies? It says remove ambiguities and convert to specifics. That's exactly what I need to do to be able to figure out what I want to have for lunch. So maybe that wasn't exactly helpful, but Let's just try again. Discard an axiom. So, do I really need to have lunch? Maybe I should be thinking about brunch or an early dinner, which opens up the possibilities. So, I don't know, maybe OBLIQUE Strategies isn't the best deck to ask if you're going to have what you're going to eat. But, maybe someday I'll make my own deck of things. I've made cards of principles and so forth, but being able to make it into a useful reflection tool would be a fun design challenge. So with that, it's 10:30. I actually need to leave here at 10:40 because I have that doctor's appointment. And so let me go and grab this sheet that I just printed out and just slam through the planning for the day, which is probably going to go pretty quick because on doctor visit days, usually I'm wiped afterwards and can't really focus on anything. But we will do our best. I've been trying to break this for a while. Break through this. Why am I always so tired after having these kind of interactions? It might be being reflective, but it's also kind of just a general. It's not like, as someone suggested in the chat room, it's not that I'm processing what happened. I'm not actively thinking about, this doctor visit, and I thought about this, or I saw these people, and I thought about that. And what does it mean? What does it mean? I mean, I have those moments quite a bit. But the post-socializing, post-doctor visit tiredness is a little bit different. It's more like I'm incapable of focusing. And by that I mean it's just my brain is just, it's like it's lost all its charge. That's one way of putting it. See how close I can get this. And we need to review last Friday's as well. Is this thing pointing at me? There we go. This is Friday? This is Friday. And let's see if we can use this pen, this new pen here. So again, this is the Pilot Metropolitan. Should be charged up by now, yeah. This is a medium. It is much more precise than the other pen. Monday. In fact, it's maybe a little bit too precise for me. This certainly makes you want to write carefully. It's kind of pleasing. I like this pen a lot more than I thought I would. So, it kept clanking something. So, the first thing to do, what did I do on Friday? Friday, there was a big co-working day. That was the day that I had the last brain fuzz thing afterwards. It wasn't like I was processing the day again. It was just that mentally my brain was fried. I guess that's the best way of putting it. WSP, there was a big mod talk also in one of the chat rooms. Not the co-working chat, but this game chat community that I'm part of. So I still haven't scheduled a visit to Salem. So let me write down all the stuff that I have to do. Schedule Duncan. Still a little early to schedule Jeff. Return GoPro. I found a box for it as I was cleaning the basement, so that is moving. Nest rebate. Finish video resource list. I am working on that. Where am I? Bill work for. Oh, this week I'm going to do a theme week. So let me write that up here. Theme. And by a theme week is a week in which I am focusing on one major area of endeavor. In this case, it's getting the iPlay or iStep, which is the paying project I have right now for an SF grant. iStep, that's good enough. And so everything else I would like to be doing, that's secondary. Doesn't mean it's not going to be done, but anything I get done on that will be a pure bonus. But if I don't get anything done on those, what does this say? It's not going to bother me either. So I guess it's a coping and focusing mechanism. That's what my theme weeks are. Conformity? Oh, confirm M. That's what it meant. It's a good thing I write this every day, because in one of these copies I could read what I wrote. May 4th is AV gear. May 4th is the Star Wars Day. AV. Primary care physician hunt. SAT priority, what is that? Oh, 5 at priority. That was passed. Server migration list. The need for that has passed somewhat, but technically that's something that would be the server migration is something that would be happening next week. Since the theme is this week is iStep. The one major thing is a doctor visit. That's at 11. Let me fill this out. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And another thing to do would be the OKR review. And I think that's it. Might as well add What's Up Dave to that. How much time do I have left? I have 4 minutes. Maybe I can do a quick OKR review, which is possibly because I have a yellow folder that keeps all that stuff in there. So hooray for me. Also, this is where I've been storing the old sheets for the old ETP sheets. So this is kind of my review folder, I suppose. I don't think I've ever really had one before, like a physical folder. But it's kind of nice because I can also keep related paperwork. So here's there's a sale today, actually. I might consider that. This is the last day, I think. No, it's through May 2nd. I need to buy some jeans. So Outlet Mall. Save up to 50% off. You're gonna get 2 pairs of jeans. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So let's look at the OKRs. So I did not do the React framework stuff, but that could be this week. I did do the basement stuff. The basements, I have at least identified what boxes to throw out, but that can be thrown out this week. And there were smaller boxes than I thought, so there's another approach I need to take on that. Did not collaborate with Jess's travel app. Maybe I'll just take this thing off of it. I should just I should 15-minute time block it. I did help someone with this logo, which I showed last week. I did do these hangouts. I didn't schedule these things though, so that's a big minus. I did not work on this at all. Or maybe I did work on the rewrite the Patreon video, but I can't remember if that was this week or last week. Did not do any of these. So this is one reason why I'm thinking about the theme week stuff. I mean, these are things I would have loved to do. This happened because people were coming over. This happened because, well, this one happened because it was bothering me. But these other things, these are actually major shifts in my thinking. I would say last week I spent mostly was working on iStep Startup, and we were also doing MMORPG stuff. And I was setting up a new Discord. That's the DS Playing Discord. It's my alarm to get ready to go to the doctor. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Set timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
So yeah, so I think next week I'll make a theme week for working on my own stuff. And that might be the way to do it. Oh yeah, last week was also a bunch of server related stuff for another client. And that was kind of a distraction. Necessary, but it was, just... All right, now I had to switch my mindset and think about, how do I secure this server? How does this handle? Mostly just to make sure that we're all okay on stuff. So anyway, that's today's stream. I don't know if anyone said anything. I should check the chat room and see. I should really set up that display too. Nope, just me in here. So anyway, that's the week. Start of the week. I need to post my OKRs later. Let me add that to this. Let's post. Anything else? And I gotta get ready to go. So have a good week. Happy Monday. Let's get some law work done this week. And hang out in the virtual co-working chat room, which you can find at the if you go to davidsay.com/virtual-co-working, you can find the information on how to reach that. I'm not going to provide an easy-to-click link for this because I don't want tire kickers in the forum disrupting things. If you really want to check this out, you got to work for it. So take care. Talk to you later.